I could probably use them. There's more light on me than I expected, which is good.
Yeah.
We don't usually record this late.
I know.
So I got no
right?
outside
It's late
light
for
coming in.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's whatever. It was worth it
I know.
ish.
I know.
We're
We're live, baby.
We're live. We're live, which is very exciting. I wish I was more excited, but here's the thing. They built this up so much. They built it up so much. So much.
This was built up like WrestleMania, man.
It was.
I got snacks. I got beer.
Sure,
it was 3 in the afternoon here, but like I was ready for like a Super Bowl, and then boom, it's just like yeah.
And here's like right off the bat, like without getting too much into it, just kind of an overview. All the matches were very good.
Yes.
But aside from that, anytime an old person was on screen, I was annoyed. I think and that includes The Rock. I thought everything The Rock did was boring. I thought that the stuff with The Undertaker was boring and annoying, and I'm glad that Hulk Hogan got booed. That's kind of my summation. But every time there was an old person on screen, I was annoyed.
You ageist! I swear to God. No, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Let's start. Let's start at the very top. I promise I only have 2 pages of notes, Andrew. Are you proud of me?
I almost took notes, but I was tired. We've been sick over here in the Sanford household. I've been mostly fine. But we don't have to get into that. No. I don't want to turn it into a thing. We're fine.
Okay.
But I am tired.
Feel better.
But I didn't take notes.
Well, tonight, live on both channels, I got this running on the Ryan Sprague channel and Somewhere in the Ring channel. We're going to be doing our instant reactions to the first ever Raw on Netflix. So let's start at the beginning. They showed that awesome promo that they put together for this thing.
Man, if I were Triple H, like I would find a way to go to bed in a mattress shaped like my face at the end of this night, just to really cap off this incredible ego trip that he gets at the beginning of narrating that like 3-minute long video about the history of the WWE. And look, I think he's earned it. But and then the screen's coming down and he's just standing there in the ring. That was fantastic.
I loved it. I got the goosebumps, man. It was so good.
I think that should have been the only thing of its kind. I think him talking like that should have been the only time. And Cena barely pulled his out, but like The Rock coming out after this, because Triple H just talks about it being on Netflix, that being a bit trying to pump everybody up. Oh man, what did he say? You let people know that WWE is the loudest thing they've ever seen. I think he said, which that's nitpicky, but. Yes, I get you're talking. It's Netflix, all that different stuff. But then we go over to The Rock, who comes out afterwards. If I may jump ahead just a little bit.
Please do.
The Rock comes out, takes conservatively 5 minutes to walk to the ring, 5-10 minutes, something like that. I got up to pee at one point. No, and check on one of my sons. And I was like, oh, and then I had to come back down to do something else. And I was like, oh, The Rock's already started talking. He hadn't yet. He was still walking to the ring, or he gave the People's Championship to his daughters or nieces, granddaughters or something. And then his mom was there, which is
like that.
I know that's all very nice. Good for him. It's everything with The Rock is confusing right now. There was some chatter on the Somewhere in the Ring Facebook group about whether or not this is like them. I think they're just more like non-committal about what The Rock's going to do at WrestleMania. But I do think just having him there at all is hurting all of that. All of it.
I get what you're saying. I honestly think the only reason I think they monkey wrenched this in because he was in LA because of the Oscars and everything. And it was very confusing. I know Brian, Nathaniel, all our wonderful people over at the Facebook group were even saying, like, what is going on? The last time we saw The Rock, he was doing that, like, I'm coming for you, Cody Rhodes, or whatever, at Bad Blood. And then here, he goes over and hugs Cody Rhodes in the front row and kisses him on the freaking forehead. Like, I don't get what's going on here, man. I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird.
Very, very weird.
It was just kind of anticlimactic. And then he even, not to get he comes out again later. We'll get into why, but yeah, it's just everything with The Rock tonight. I was like, hey, this
Yeah.
kind of really ground momentum to a halt. So
Yeah,
we'll see.
and it wasn't our our final boss. Like he seemed like just The Rock there. I don't know.
Yeah, it was
I
weird.
I did it.
He
It
seemed like TKO board member Dwayne Johnson
there we
shouting out Ted Sarandos in a weird rambling monologue. I feel like
peeing
he
in
felt like he
jars
could riff and he
again.
had nothing. He
He
had
got
nothing.
nothing, man. He
It
got
was weird.
nothing.
It's
Let's
weird.
go with the first match. What do you think of the opening match?
I thought it was great. I thought it was much better than it was one of those things too where it there were some elements that felt kind of like repeat with that storyline with like the bloodline coming in and stuff like that, but it still felt like a good match between the two of them, which I wasn't. I feel like we haven't gotten to watch Solo wrestle like that in a while. I thought that was
Yeah,
a really good on his end. Roman also is good at making other people look good, but I thought Roman sold everything that Solo did really well. Like it felt like a passing of the torch kind of a match. It was good. I really
yeah,
enjoyed it. And I think it was, as far as like continuity wise, that's probably like the deepest continuity one of the night. Cause I was trying to think of like how this would appeal to someone who's just surfing on Netflix and all of a sudden Netflix is like, hey, do you want to watch wrestling?
yeah.
Um, would that appeal to them if they like jumped right in? And I think this one kind of was the most like in the pocket, like you got to know what's going on, but also there's a lot of exciting stuff. And yeah, I don't know. It was a good
Yeah.
way to kick it off. I liked
I
it.
thought so too. I wasn't expecting this to be the first match, but I was pleasantly surprised. You know, now it's making sense to me. Start with something big, end with something big.
Mhm.
Thank you to Mothman46. Listen up, Rudy Poo. The Rock says he's the final boss. Welcome. Thanks for being here, Mothman. Yeah, great way to get we now have our tribal chief back. The
Mhm.
Ulafala has been given back to Roman Reigns. It was about to be put on him by Paul Heyman. And then who came out? Andrew.
The Rock, I guess. And
Yeah.
then The Rock came out. And at first I was kind of like, oh, maybe
Yeah,
he's
me
gonna put
too.
it on himself or something. No, he puts it on Roman Reigns. So I was like, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
I don't know why do this
Awesome.
just made it longer. I'm floored they only went like 5 minutes over. Floored.
Yeah.
Floored.
Yeah, we were both waiting here, you know, in the green room, quote unquote green
Mhm.
room. And
It's
I'm
true.
like, Andrew,
No
let's wait
snakes
and see
in
if
this green
anything
room.
happens. Yeah, those
Right.
green rooms. And nothing happened. It just faded out and they said, we'll see you next week on Netflix. So yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
Good match.
great,
Yeah. Good match.
great
Yeah.
opening
Roman
match.
Solo, good match. Then after
Yeah.
that, we got Mr. John. It was John Cena was next.
We had John Cena came out and basically, you know, got the crowd pumped. It was good to see him again and
Hmm.
started teasing us that no, I'm not going to get that championship that everyone thinks I'm going to get. It's just simply not going to happen.
I'm not gonna lie, he
Unless
got me. He got
he
me.
got
He
me
got
too,
me.
man. Yeah,
I was like, oh, good for them, because he probably shouldn't be doing this anyway. Then it was like, oh no, never mind. Not only is he gonna do it, he's gonna maybe win the Royal Rumble too.
yep,
Like
yep.
it's because my thing is too, if you're gonna do a reunion tour, make him champ for the whole year. Cody doesn't need it this whole time. Cody won it. It's kind of
Interesting.
doing nothing sitting on it. I wouldn't mind if Cena won it from Cody at the at WrestleMania, and then the rest of the year is just him as champ. And then maybe he loses it to somebody at the end of the year. That's how he really passes things on, is by
I
handing over the
like
title
that.
as well.
That's great, man. I didn't even think because I mean, yeah, Cody's great, but like he's really got nothing huge going on. He's got the Kevin Owens thing, but I mean, how long can we stretch that out? You know,
Sure.
and I could see. I love when they take They used to do this back in the '90s, maybe into the early 2000s. Like the championship, the major undisputed championship, would change hands a lot,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
once every month, maybe even within the span of like a couple weeks. It's I miss those days, you know, and that all sort of ended with Roman Reigns, and now everyone expects Cody to be champion for as long as Reigns was. I don't see that happening, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I like that idea. I really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like at this point, why not? If you're gonna have him back and make this big a deal out of it, have him win the Rumble. Have him
yeah,
win the belt at WrestleMania. That'd be cool. You know, like
Could you imagine how many title belts they would sell if they got
oh man,
Cena back in the
ooh,
championship?
bring the spinner back for a year. I don't care.
Oh,
I want to see him bring it back because people hated that thing so thoroughly when he used
yeah,
it. People disliked it. Um, so I want to see it get its final, and I didn't even really care for it that much, but give it that last like 9 months,
do it.
and then
Do
have him
it.
hand it over to someone else.
Never give up, baby. Never
Hmm.
give up. Next up, we had Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan for the women's world title. What'd you think?
Dare I say, great wrestling match. Once again,
Fantastic.
great match. I mean, that was I'm hoping this feud is over. I like that they've been fighting, but it is kind of and Liv Morgan is a very good wrestler. It is one of those funny things where I just kind of I want to see Rhea Ripley fight people that are Rhea Ripley sized and they
Yeah.
exist on the roster. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's nothing against Liv Morgan. Because I always like when those matchups happen. I just have seen this one enough at this point, I think.
Right.
So
And Liv has just grown exponentially in the ring. I am so impressed with her, honestly.
mhm.
But I did not see this coming. I did not expect Rhea
Really?
Ripley to get the championship. So that was a big surprise. Yeah, I thought this was just going to be, same as usual, and
Mhm.
there'd be some antics. No antics. No antics whatsoever.
Oh,
Rhea
there were
wins.
antics. There were post-match antics, Ryan. We have to so
Okay.
I'm sorry. We have to overshadow it as this actually did to the match, which is that the match ends. And here's what I envisioned, Ryan, because I still think some of this could happen. I want to see a triple threat match for that title between Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, and Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. Because those have been, I believe those were her last two WrestleMania opponents. And like, I want to see her go up against both of them at the same time. I think that would be great. I thought because there have been rumors that both of those other two wrestlers would come back soon, that they would come back after this match and maybe stare down Rhea
So
Ripley one at a time, something. Instead, we got an old man on a motorcycle who hobbled out there and barely sputtered his way around the ring until he got back and they did a little pose together. They don't, none of these guys understand how they look anymore, how it's just diminishing returns. Just because you do American Badass for Undertaker now, he's still an old man in a ski cap. Like, that doesn't change what he is. And he still looks exactly like he looked like when he showed up at WrestleMania this past year, which is not intimidating. And it's just so silly to drag that into the ground. And they have nothing to do with each other. That just kind of took some
nothing.
glorious moment. It was so
Rhea
dumb.
Rhea almost looked a little embarrassed for him
I
at
think
one
she was
point.
into it. I think she was into it.
You think so?
Yeah, at that point in the business,
I
it's the
mean,
Undertaker. She's getting to
it's
be
the
on stage with the
Undertaker.
Undertaker. I get it from like a whatever. I got to hang out with the Undertaker standpoint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just us having to watch it. I'm just not interested, and I hate him.
Uh,
Like,
yeah.
I'm
I'm scared. I was scared, man, that he was gonna like run her over or something. Like, I don't trust a man that age on a hog like that. I just don't. I don't. I'm sorry. That's gonna be the soundbite of the episode, by the way.
yeah, I know. You
Yep.
don't trust me on a hug. Um,
All right. Well, let's
yeah.
move on.
So
Anything else from that segment?
I don't think we talked about yet how ugly the ring looks with all the shit on it. Oh,
The stuff
sorry.
on it?
Yeah. All the advertising. Here's the thing. It's not like I haven't seen things like that before. I just think it looks ugly. I
Yeah.
get it. I understand its purpose. I think it makes sense. It's not like other things that use a ring don't do it. It's just cool that WWE didn't, and now conceivably for the future it does. Maybe it was just for tonight, but
Yeah.
like I don't need to like even some of this. One of them was two of the corners were Hogan's beer, the All American beer nonsense that he was touting later on in the show. It's
We'll get to
just
that. Yeah.
yeah. So I just thought the ring looked ugly. What was
Yeah.
the there were a lot of some of the filler segments were fun whenever they were cutting to wrestlers and cutting to celebrities. I was having a good time with that
Yeah.
stuff. You know, they
Yeah, it's
made
good
it.
to
They
see
gave it like a
Macaulay
big party
Culkin and
feel. Huh? Say that again.
We had Macaulay Culkin, we had
Oh
we had
yeah.
Topanga, and the
You
older
did Young
brother
Bischoff
from
and
Boy
Will
Meets. Oh
Friedle.
my god, man,
Yeah, yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Yeah. Who else did we have? Vanessa Hudgens, of course.
Michael Che was a fun one.
Yep.
They did a lot of fun stuff with the wrestlers too, which was like giving each of them like a little moment to shine sometimes. And
Yep.
then we LP talking about being a full-time superstar and all that stuff.
Yeah. Nobody cared.
Oh,
Nobody cared.
no. Third match. What was the third match?
We had Drew McIntyre versus Jay Uso, and
I kept wondering. I was like, I knew there were 4 matches, and I kept forgetting what the third one was.
that was it.
And
Yep.
it was a good match.
Good match. Yeah.
Good match.
Sort of like I don't see the point of it, but hey, you need those matches every now and again. Yeah,
I was very surprised that Jay won because it seemed like they realized they were like, if Drew beats Jay, the next stop is Roman, and they don't want Drew against Roman. I feel like they kind of have to cut this whole thing out. Because maybe they are doing Roman versus The Rock at WrestleMania, but nobody wants to see that. I just don't care.
It's just
I don't care.
And it
How does The Rock move? He's so huge. I said that to you in text, but like, God, he's enormous.
He's got that whole upper body thing and little legs thing going on.
Yes, that's never good. He looks like a cavity creep.
Yep.
We put holes in the teeth. We
good
put
description.
Holes in the teeth.
Oh, we should mention when Jey Uso was making his entrance, they had Travis Scott with him, the guy who wrote the new Raw opening theme. He looked like he was just like wandering down the steps, and they were like, "Oh, get him in here, get him." He looked so like unprepared and like I think actually just overwhelmed, like looking out at everyone, and he was just kind of
maybe that.
I don't know. He looked scared to me for some reason.
I couldn't tell what belt he had. He had some rad custom belt on his shoulder.
I couldn't get eyes on it. Yeah, he had it to the side the whole time. But fun match. Jey Uso won, like you said. Interesting.
Which I was surprised by. That's what surprised me.
That was a surprise. Yep. Guess what came next, Andrew? We had the one and only Real American came out to tell us about his beer. So the LA crowd loved this. They absolutely loved this segment, as did we. Right?
And it's funny because at first I definitely heard it too, and then it became undeniable that they were booing this man. Yeah. Just booing him. And it's funny because I don't know what they expected. That's what happened last time they tried to bring him out. Like, he's not welcome there anymore. No.
Especially,
no one cares.
Especially in a place like Los Angeles. Like, let's be honest, it's a pretty progressive place. And even if this was in like, I don't know, South Dakota, I'm sure you would still hear some boos. And it was just stupid on their part. Like, it sullied the entire thing for me. Yeah. But I reveled in it too.
To be in it.
Say that again? I reveled in it. I mean, the amount of he went off stage like just to thunderous boos. So I hope that keeps him up tonight. I really do. I really do. Right, so that happened. And then we moved to our main event. We had Seth Rollins versus CM Punk.
Yeah. Again, great match. Great wrestling match. That one was really worth the wait. I told you when we texted ahead of time who was going to win. I just said Punk. I just don't see him losing, especially the culmination of any matches, like any feuds or anything like that, for quite some time.
Yeah.
And but it was a good match. It was a good match.
Now that I think about it, he was sort of the face of this whole first Netflix thing. Like, they kept putting him front and center.
Oh, sure.
So now that I think about it, you're right. Yeah, like it made sense. I'm just really hoping for a straight up Seth heel turn, and I thought tonight would have been a good opportunity to do it. He even had on Netflix colored pants. Did you notice that, Seth Rollins?
I did. Yeah.
I love that.
Yep.
I love that. But really good match. They were trading real blows sometimes, which I really appreciated.
It was pretty great. They threw down like that was that was the one that was teased 14 months ago when Punk showed up for the first time. Rollins
Yep.
was screaming at him up the ramp. Rollins had been talking trash about him in the days leading up, months leading up, even, I think, being like, I don't want, because there were rumors that Punk did come to WWE, and Rollins was like, no, I don't want it. Absolutely not. He's a cancer, like all this stuff. So to see that finally pay off, it was a good match. It was a good match for that. I would be totally a little bit of animosity. There is quite a bit, Mothman 46.
I actually was listening to who was it? Bully Ray this morning, talking about he got a text from somebody who he would not name, but is extremely close to both wrestlers right now, currently, and said these guys, they're professionals, but make no mistake, a lot of us wrestlers, as time goes on, we make up, we forgive, we forget. But I can tell you right now, this person told me these guys do not speak to each other after the match. They do not speak to each other before the match. They do the match, and then that's it. They want nothing to do with one another.
Wow.
So that's interesting. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Respect that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go home.
Yep, they're professionals, man. Get that money. CM Punk is very upfront about that. I'm here to make money, not friends. So, yeah.
Before we lock up, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that WWE 2K5 or 2K25 tees. Very excited about that.
Yeah.
More video game information. I'm about it. See what the next game's angle is. Seeing as how, of course, I just got into playing this one all the way, but we'll see if I get it. That's always the
problem. We'll have to get you on Twitch again when that's up and running.
Sure.
When that's up and running. You could tell I play a lot of video games, Andrew. Yeah. When that game is up and running and you start it up and you go,
there's a ripcord involved.
So what do you think overall? What would you rate this? Let's do a scale.
I think it was a very good Raw. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was a good Raw. I think it's a good introduction. Well, no. I think the matches were a good introduction to wrestling for people who are coming to it fresh. I thought all the in between segments, save Cena's, were garbage. Just bad stuff. Anytime there was an old man with a microphone or a motorcycle, there was an issue. So any of that other stuff, I thought was a good representation of the product and what it is currently. And I'm glad that they showed off some of the other wrestlers, because it is like an embarrassment of riches right now as far as the main young roster. But any of those, any of the other people, it was just frustrating. It was just frustrating to have to see that stuff, because we got to see American Alpha at one point. They're really exciting. There's
New Day
and Naomi. There's just so many great people, and I had to look at Hulk Hogan's dumb face. So
it was very smart of them to, like you said, feature SmackDown wrestlers, because it will hopefully get all these new people who have Netflix and decided to tune in to hopefully go over to USA and watch SmackDown. So they have this symbiotic thing going on. I think they've got it. They know what they're doing. I think everyone's going to win. They showed promos for NXT. They're getting all the brands into this Netflix thing, even if none of these people are on Raw every week. So I think it's cool. I thought they did a good job.
One thing, at least one of the matches should have been commercial free. I think it is unacceptable. Oh my God.
Thank you for bringing that up.
It could have. It didn't have to be all of them. I get it. I get that it's still Raw. I get that Netflix bought something that they can advertise with. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
But for the love of God, it's your first night. Make the main event commercial free.
Thank you. That was so many commercials.
Every single match had a commercial break, which is crazy. Yeah. I mean, I know they're long, but come on, just one. It's the first night, just one. You can't do one.
Come on, guys. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this relationship goes. I thought, from a production standpoint, WWE knocked it out of the park. You look at something like great. That. What was
Entrance
that?
Ramp was really cool. I like that a lot.
Super cool. But the other Paul brother, when Tyson fought the Paul brother,
Jake Paul.
There we go. Yeah, that thing was a whole debacle with Netflix. So it was good to see them do a live thing again with WWE at the helm, and I think they did a wonderful job.
Yeah, mine was a little blurry sometimes because they were having a hard time keeping up with the stream if the
Okay.
camera was moving too quick. But overall, it was pretty good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I would agree.
Yep. I'm excited. I'm excited to see
Yeah,
what they do next week. And it's so cool now that we can just watch it at our leisure. Like there's, no more of
yeah.
this like,
Have you
yeah.
scoped out like what else is on Netflix right now?
Some of it. A lot of it
Yeah,
was like just really short promos for things.
there's good.
Nothing like too big from what I saw, unless I'm
No,
missing
there's
something.
like episodes of Raw on there from like the 90s and early
Okay.
2000s. Yeah, yeah, not a ton. I think it only goes up to like 2001 and there's like little select ones but then some more recent Raws, some like best of compilations. The boys and I watched an Usos match, Usos against New Age Outlaws today. That was pretty fun.
Oh, nice.
The only gripe so far is that you can't if you're scrubbing to go forward or back, you can't like it doesn't have indicators where each match starts, which Peacock and the
Okay.
WWE Network has had.
Hmm.
Netflix, maybe they'll add it at some point. Who knows? But it's like some of these best ofs are like 3 hours long, so you kind of have to like go through unless you want to sit there and watch every single match. So yeah, it's a thing. Anyway,
Yeah.
they'll learn, or they
Yeah.
just won't care.
Yeah. They just won't care and they'll keep doing
Yeah,
what they're
they just won't
doing.
care.
But
Yeah,
uh,
yeah.
yeah, overall, man, I thought they did a great job.
Yep.
It was fine. It was a glorified Raw. For now on, we're not going to get these stupid cameos by old men on bikes and ripping off their shirts to show their
Their
freaking
other shirts.
whatever, their other shirts. At least he didn't have that other shirt on that I saw him in earlier today. But I thought they did a great job. I can't wait. And yeah, yeah. Anything else before we wrap things up? It's getting late for you.
Nah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm tired. Let's get out
I
of
don't
here.
blame you, buddy. Get some rest. I'm going to
Thanks.
dinner right now, but
Oh, nice. Where can people find you if they want to look? Because this is
where
going to
they
be
want to
our
find me,
episode for the week, right?
I'm still doing UFO stuff every week.
Hmm.
I got a brand new episode dropped today of Somewhere in the Skies, so please go check that out. Yeah, that's about it. You can find
Sweet.
everything I do right here on YouTube or somewhereintheskies.com. And yeah, how about you?
While you're on YouTube, why don't you go over and check out a short film I wrote called Chemistry Test? That was actually named in Vulture's Best Comedy Shorts of December 2024.
Yes, thanks
Last
for bringing
month.
that up.
So, trust me, you think I wasn't going to. So you can check that out. You can always watch my short film Pay the Tithe, which is a horror film on Vimeo. And we got stuff coming around the bend. Keep listening to this podcast. Go to patreon.com/somewhere in the ring and support us that way. You got options, buy some merch. Ryan, I don't have them out yet, but my older brother gifted me quite a few wrestling action figures that will be coming into play
Okay.
in the coming weeks. I'm very excited for that.
I'm
We'll start
excited.
to try to incorporate more figures, or at least guest stars, we'll call them, into
Some
the show.
guest stars. I love
Mhm.
that. I love that.
Mhm.
Awesome, buddy. All right, you go get some rest.
Thank
And
you. Wait, Ryan,
yes,
please ring the bell.
you want me to ring the bell? Done.
Yeah, I want you
You
to
ready
ring.
for this? Hold on. I'm in a kitchen, so
Oh, nice.
I should be able to do this. Ready?
Yep.
That didn't work at all. Damn
Nice.
it.
Nope, that was great. That was perfect.
Okay. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, my man. We don't have the fade out in the music because we're live, so this is just gonna be an
Live.
awkward.
That's right.
And
Yeah, we're gonna have some awkwardness there. But I'm getting out of here, pal. I love you.
I love
Have
you
a good
too.
night.
You too,
Monday
my
Night
man.
Raw, Netflix. Woo!
Love it. Take care, guys. We'll see you next week.